This video is for worksheet 4-2 for the class, the language of algebra. If you're in this class, you know the drill. I'm going to throw up the answers and you can check and make sure you got the right answer. If you're not in this class, but you would like to be, a good way is to look in the description. I have a link to OutSchool and you can search this class and many other classes. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so pause and check your worksheets. All right, so in doing this first one, I am going to distribute the 4 first, which gives me 4x plus 24 equals 25. Now I got to do opposite operation to get that x by itself. The 25 is adding to the x, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. It's going to give me 4x. 25 minus 25 is 0. And this is going to give me negative. Should give me negative 10. Why do I have 9? Yep, negative 10. So this should be, sorry, I put 25 here. It should be 24. That's why I should never doubt my answer, should I? Okay. Except for I do believe we might have a negative sign in here that I forgot. All right, let's try this again. All right, 4 times 6 is 24, not 25. All right, so to get rid of it, I got to subtract it from both sides, right? Because that will get rid of it. Because these are going to go to 0. All right, now I need to divide both sides by 4, and I do have a negative on my key. I just forgot to write it here. I wrote it here, as you can see. I forgot to write it on the first one. Okay, so I don't care if you write it as an improper fraction or a mixed number. What I care is that you understand opposite operations, so just pick one. All right. Now I have to distribute through the negative 2. Do not forget the negative, okay? So that's going to give me a negative 16, negative times a negative x. It's going to give me a positive 2x, okay? All right, I'm going to flip-flop this. The 2x is still positive, the 16 is still negative, but I like to look at it this way instead. So I have to add 16 to both sides in order to get that 0, to get rid of it on the left. Okay? Negative 16 plus 16 is 0. Add these two and I'm going to get 48. Divide by 2 because it's multiplying the x. And you're going to get 24 as your answer. And it's positive. All right, this next one, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times the x is 3x. Now let's do the other side. Negative 4 times x is a negative 4x. Negative 4 times a positive 5 is a negative 20. Now let's get things where they need to be. I want to move this to the other side. Right now it's being subtracted. Negative 4x, it's subtracting. So to move it to the other side, I have to add it. All right, which is going, this should be a 4, which is going to give me 12 plus 7x equals, that goes to 0, negative 20. I'm going to rewrite this. As long as the 12 and the 7x remain positive, I'm okay. All right, to get rid of the 12, I got to subtract it from both sides. So I'm going to do that real quick. That's going to go to 0. 7x equals negative 32. Divide both sides by 7. Okay, this is an acceptable answer, all right? Or I could say 7 goes into 32 4 times with 4 left over. Doesn't matter, I'm not picky about that, just that you know your opposite operation. All right, these are a little simpler. They don't have the distributing in them. Okay, this is dividing the W. The 3 is dividing the W, so I have to multiply it on both sides. It's going to cancel it out here, leaving me just with W. 3 times 9 is 27. Over here, I'm multiplying a -9 to that P because they're back-to-back means multiplication. So I need to divide. All right, and positive and positive. I mean, negative and negative make a positive. 9 goes into 27 3 times. Look how I just reversed numbers around. Multiplication is just the reverse of division. Like just moving the numbers around and I can still get the same answers, you know? All right, I'm going to rewrite this one first. I like to have my y first, as long as my y over 6 and my 2 are both positive, because they're positive here, and my 13 remains negative. I can move those around. All right, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. That's going to give me -15. The 6 is dividing the y, so I want to multiply it. A positive and a negative make a negative. 6 times 15 is 90. All right, I'm going to flip-flop this. The 4n is negative, so I'm going to make it negative over here. 27 is positive. I'm going to put it right here. 35 is positive. So I just rearranged my equation. Didn't change anything that couldn't be changed. All right, so the first step, going to subtract that 27 so that it goes to the other side, because that's going to give me a 0. It's going to give me an 8 over here. Positive 8, 35 is bigger. All right, now the -4 is multiplying the n, so what I need to do is divide it. And n equals a negative. 4 goes into 8 2 times. The answer is -2. Again, I want to rearrange this. It's not written the way I like to look at it. As long as I don't change the signs of the numbers, I can rearrange it, and everything stays on the right sides. All right, so 53 is being added to the y. I'm going to subtract it in order to move it. All right, so I'm going to have 5 over -5 equals, that's going to be a -13 because the 53 is bigger. I'm going to multiply both sides by -5 because the -5 is dividing. That's going to give me a positive answer, right? And 5 times 13 is 65, positive. All right, one more and then that word problem. So this one's already set up pretty nicely. If I want to get rid of the 10, which is subtracting the x, I'm going to have to add. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. That goes to 0. 30 plus 10 is 40. Now I got to divide both sides by that 2. And 2 goes into 40 20 times. X is 20. All right. Last thing, we got to take care of question 10. It takes 110 person-hours to set up a new computer in an office. A crew sets up the computers, and each person works the same amount of hours. It takes 7 hours to complete the job. So obviously, if it takes the full crew 7 hours, they must have broke that up over the 105. So first thing I need to ask myself is, what operation? Well, I chose to divide. Okay, I did logic first. You may have chose to multiply. Remember, they're opposites, so both is true. All right, so I said 105 divided by 7, and when I did that, that was 15. So it must have taken 15 people to do this job. All right, each working 7 hours to get that 105 hours. Okay, but this is not an equation. An equation always equals a total. So I know the total in this particular question is 105. 105 is the total amount of hours worked. Then I got to figure out what to do over here. Well, if I wanted to get 105 by itself, I would have to get rid of the 7. And the way to get rid of the 7 would have been multiply it. That would have canceled it out here, and then I could multiply it over here. Okay, 15 is my unknown, so if I was going to write an equation, it'd be 7x equals 105. And again, I could solve that for 15 people. All right, keep doing this till you understand this, and I will see you in class.